I hope you all are really enjoying the advertising section of this course, and today I want to talk to you guys about storytelling. You've heard Professor Goodman talk about storytelling and advertising and what's needed, and the TED Talk, you heard a story about kind of what is information and how we relate it. But you notice, especially in the TED Talk, that there was a pretty dry subject, how, the brain size versus stomach, and there was data and information, but told through a story, it could be quite entertaining. So I want to talk to you a little bit about how we begin to build a story. And this is going to layer throughout the course, especially as we get into the journalism and the telecommunications section, and even public relations as we talk about a company story. First off, think about who is your audience. The first step to telling a story is figuring out who's going to listen to it. You're clearly going to tell a story a different way, whether you're giving a corporate presentation or whether you're giving a fireside chat or you're at a bar with a friend. Clearly, whether you're giving a presentation to your board of directors is not going to sound the same as if you're at, 101 Cantina in downtown Gainesville having a drink and trying to figure out what the next thing to say is. So, thinking of who your audience is key. So if I'm telling a story for advertising, the first thing I want to do is figure out some market research. Figure out who I'm going to try to tell this story to, who would be most interested, and figure out what action they might take. And that's actually your second piece of information. What do you want them to do with this information? In the case of a journalist, the what might just be to be informed. You might want them to be able to read more or to subscribe to your newspaper. In the case of advertising, you want them to buy a specific product. But always think about who your audience is and then what do you want them to get out of this information. There should always be a purpose to the information that you have presented with them in some way, shape, or form. Which gets to the third question, the how. How are you going to present it to them? This could be through animated GIFs, as we see on BuzzFeed. This could be through tweets. This could be through long-form magazine-style articles. Even a newspaper-style article has many different hows. Is this going to be a very dry cut and paste, as we once called the inverted pyramid, the most important information up first, then the least important information at the end? How you tell that story is vital, and you should constantly be thinking about who your audience is and what do you want them to do when you're going through the how. And last, but certainly not least, is the why. Why is this important? The first thing for any story is make me care. If I'm not going to care about this, clearly I'm going to be disengaged. I'm not going to be interested. I'm going to click on to the next thing online. Why is this important to the audience? So if you're trying to tell a story about the football game last weekend, if Florida beat a big team or didn't beat a big team, well, why is that important? Did the coach just get fired? Is he going to get fired because of it? Was there a player that got injured? Is there some off-the-field story? Why is that entertaining? In the case of advertising, why is your product the best? Why should someone buy that product? What should they do with that product? A lot of times there's a story behind it. One of my favorite advertisements, and I guess I should post in the discussion board for my favorite, is Beats by Dre. Had a phenomenal World Cup soccer story, and it featured their products, but it was a story. It was about the star player of Brazil talking with his father, going through his pregame rituals, getting ready for obviously the biggest game of his life. The why was there. It was the World Cup. It was the biggest story. Anybody who's interested in the World Cup loved this story that was pieced together. The how, okay, it was through video and it was this longer form documentary. It wasn't a quick 30-second ad. It was more than 7 minutes long. The what? Buy Beats headphones. But the what wasn't as blatant. It wasn't like an infomercial or a car commercial that says you have to buy these now. And I think you'll see in advertising more and more the what is being disguised in the story. You want people to feel something with your stories, not just be told something. Once you have that emotion, whether it's through comedy, whether it's through sadness, insert any holiday commercial, you always have that tugging of the heartstrings. Publix's Thanksgiving's commercials, everybody sitting down for dinner, and the very last thing is Publix, where shopping is a pleasure. It's not a Publix commercial, but you almost feel like it's a Publix commercial the whole time. You're thinking about the product, but you don't even realize that you're being sold the product. So again, to recap, think about who your audience is, what do you want them to do, how you're going to tell them that story, and then ultimately, why is this important? I hope you're enjoying this section of the course, and I will see you next time.